Warning: some viewers might find this following video disturbing. Viewers' discretion is advised.
Greetings, my human companion. Dim the lights and brace yourself for a plunge into the depths of the human soul. On the idyllic Monday of November 15, 2004, the conditions were optimal for a cruise. The day unfolded with clarity and brightness, boasting a pleasant temperature in the mid-70s and winds clocking in at less than 10 miles per hour, a quintessential California day. During such moments, Thomas and Jackie Hawks likely experienced pangs of remorse regarding their decision to part ways with their cherished 55-foot yacht, the Well-Deserved. For the past 3 years, this vessel had served as their home while they navigated the western coast of Mexico, living a life that most can only envision in dreams. The retired couple had chosen to feature their yacht in a boating magazine, hoping to connect with new owners who would cherish and care for it as they had. Skylar and Jennifer Deleon seemed like the ideal match. Youthful, charming, and attractive, with one daughter and another on the way, the Deleons presented themselves as the perfect buyers. Skylar, who identified himself as a former actor and entrepreneur, was accompanied by Jennifer, a hairdresser. During a previous visit to inspect the yacht, Jackie had been won over by the couple's infant daughter, and she couldn't resist expressing her excitement about the forthcoming arrival of her stepson's new baby. With seemingly all details settled, only a test cruise remained. Skylar, along with 2 companions he introduced as his accountant and a friend, John F. Kennedy and Alonso McCain respectively, arrived around 3:30 p.m. The Well-Deserved was moored at Newport Harbor, and the plan was to set sail off the coast of Orange County. At 4:06 p.m., Jackie made a cell phone call to a friend, stating, "We're out at sea." Little did anyone know that this would be the last communication from them. Once the yacht ventured far into the open sea, the picturesque cruise took a dark turn. While Jackie remained on the deck with McCain, Skylar and Kennedy enticed Thomas to the master stateroom below. Seizing the element of surprise, Skylar and Kennedy initiated a violent assault on Thomas, delivering punches and deploying a stun gun. Subduing Thomas proved challenging. Despite being 57 years old, he was a former competitive bodybuilder and wrestler, committed to maintaining excellent physical condition. Jackie, aged 47, fell victim to McCain, who overpowered her and brought her below deck to join her husband. In desperation, she cried out, "We trusted you. How could you do this? You brought your wife and baby on board." She pleaded for mercy, revealing her desire to live for the sake of a new grandchild in Arizona. However, sympathy was absent. The couple found themselves handcuffed with arms secured behind their backs, their eyes and mouths taped with duct tape. While Thomas maintained silence, Jackie sobbed through her tape. Thomas, a former military police officer, firefighter, and probation officer, harbored no illusions that the assailants intended to spare their lives. Knowing that their release would jeopardize the criminals, he attempted to comfort Jackie during the excruciating 2 hours they spent in captivity as the vessel approached Catalina Island, located 30 miles offshore. Eventually, they were brought back on deck, and the tape was partially removed to allow each of them to see through one eye. Under coercion, Thomas and Jackie were compelled to sign a bill of sale for the yacht, provide a power of attorney document, and disclose the passwords to their bank accounts. The thieves, promising cooperation, assured the couple they would be dropped off on a passing boat or a dock somewhere in Mexico. With no alternative, Thomas and Jackie complied. The Hawkses stood on the deck of their yacht, a familiar sight they had experienced countless times before, surrounded by the cerulean expanse of the Pacific Ocean. However, the once beloved sea now appeared as a menacing void, ominously calling out to them. The couple was forcibly brought to the side of the ship, and a rope was cinched around their waists. In a final desperate attempt, Thomas unleashed a sudden kick, striking Skylar's groin. In retaliation, Kennedy delivered a punch to Thomas's face and seized the boat's anchor. The Hawkses were securely tied to it. Skylar, grinning malevolently, tossed the anchor overboard. The 66-pound anchor descended into the murky depths, dragging the Hawkses along with it. Jackie's head collided with the gunwale, producing a sickening thud. Their struggle was intense but brief as they submerged beneath the surface and vanished. With an eerie calmness, reminiscent of Skylar's routine scuba diving excursions, the assailants disengaged the yacht from automatic pilot, altered its course back to Newport Beach, and commenced a thorough ransacking in search of cash and valuables. Skylar casually informed his wife of his imminent return. Meanwhile, Kennedy, nonchalant, grabbed a beer from the refrigerator, secured a fishing pole, baited the hook, and leisurely fished all the way back to port. Thomas Hawks embodied fearlessness, boldness, and sociability, a man who could confidently navigate any circumstance. His diverse background included stints as a competitive surfer, bodybuilder, and arm wrestler. Thomas also served in the Air Force as a security police officer and later pursued a career as a firefighter. Raised in California, he experienced the milestones of marriage, the birth of 2 children, Ryan and Matt, and eventual divorce. As a newly single father, he relocated to Arizona, where he worked as a probation officer. During a chili cook-off at the home of a mutual friend in Arizona, Thomas met Jackie, a supermarket checker who, at the time, was in a wheelchair due to a motorcycle accident. Despite the physical challenge, an instant attraction blossomed between them. They married in 1985, forming a bond grounded in hard work and admiration for each other. Ryan, Thomas's son, recalls his father as a popular figure, always at the center of attention, and Jackie was drawn to his confidence. The couple's diligence and determination earned them everything they owned. The Hawkses were known for being strict parents. After Thomas returned home from work, playtime for Ryan and his friends came to a halt as homework took precedence. Matt, exhibiting a rebellious streak, found himself grounded frequently, even going bald for a month after sporting purple hair. Despite the strictness, the family shared a deep love for the water, always owning a boat. Holidays and weekends were dedicated to boating and camping, and the Hawkses enjoyed entertaining friends on their excursions. Upon Thomas's retirement in October 2002, the couple embarked on a new chapter, selling their house in Arizona to fund their grand adventure. Acquiring the well-deserved, they set sail, embracing the freedom and excitement of life at sea. Being a nomad may imply the absence of a fixed address, but it doesn't necessarily mean the absence of close ties. Thomas maintained regular email and phone communication with his 2 sons and brother, ensuring that despite their transient lifestyle, familial bonds remained strong. The couple also cultivated a vast network of friends, making it inevitable for someone to become suspicious of their prolonged silence. Son Ryan vividly recalls conversing with his father on the Wednesday or Thursday preceding the fateful cruise, making plans for an upcoming farewell party for the well-deserved. Eager to wrap up the call as he was preparing for a weekend trip, Ryan rushed off the phone with his father. The subsequent week, Thomas's friend Donnie, slated to assist with moving personal items to Prescott, Arizona, where the Hawkses were planning to retire, grew concerned when Thomas failed to follow through. Unable to reach Thomas and discovering that his cell phone was turned off, Donnie contacted Ryan. "I'm looking for your dad, and his cell phone is turned off. Do you have Jackie's number?" Donnie inquired, expressing his unease about Thomas unexpectedly leaving him hanging. To further complicate matters, Jackie's phone was also turned off. Alarmed, Ryan reached out to his uncle Jim, who had not heard from Thomas either. Annoyed and assuming that his dad might have taken an impromptu trip without informing anyone, Ryan decided to give it a few days before expecting Thomas's return. Unbeknownst to Ryan, the well-deserved had already docked at port, and Thomas's cherished yacht would soon reveal the unsettling clue that would unravel the horrifying mystery of his fate. On Wednesday, Jim and Donnie ventured to the berth of the well-deserved at Newport Harbor to unravel the mystery. Almost immediately, something struck them as peculiar. The line securing the dinghy to the yacht had been hastily fastened, indicating an amateur touch. Knowing Thomas's meticulous nature regarding boating safety, this haphazard arrangement seemed entirely out of character. Upon boarding the yacht, they made a disconcerting discovery. Some of Thomas's cherished possessions, such as a custom-made surfboard and an expensive FM radio, were conspicuously absent. However, other personal items remained, creating a perplexing scenario. If Thomas had indeed sold the boat and offloaded his belongings, none of these items should have been left behind. Jim, drawing on his experience as a retired police chief, left a business card with a message on the back: "If you are the new boat owners, please call." Shortly thereafter, a call came in from a woman identifying herself as Jennifer Deleon, claiming to be the new owner. Jim, inherently skeptical due to her abrupt demeanor and the background whispering he detected, engaged in conversation. However, Jennifer abruptly ended the call, citing a baby's needs, promising to call back later. This encounter only deepened the suspicion surrounding the well-deserved and the fate of Thomas Hawks and his wife, Jackie. The family opted to give Thomas and Jackie until Thanksgiving to reach out, and if there was no contact by then, Jim planned to file a missing persons report. On November 26, Jim received notification from an Arizona bank that Skylar Deleon had made 2 attempts to access the Hawks account, first from Arizona using the power of attorney and then the following day from Mexico. Alarmed by this development, Jim promptly informed the police and contacted Ryan, who was actively searching for his father and Jackie in Arizona. Jim relayed the urgency of the situation to Ryan, urging him to return immediately. In a somber phone call, Ryan's brother conveyed a chilling suspicion: "I think they're dead." Without hesitation, Ryan embarked on a non-stop journey to California, arriving at his uncle's house at 3 a.m. I'll never forget that I sat across the kitchen table from my uncle, and he was talking about them in the past tense, saying that they had lived an awesome life, Ryan recalled, marking the beginning of a harrowing realization that Thomas and Jackie's fate might be far more tragic than anyone had initially feared. Before they met, the Deleons grew up in radically different environments. Jennifer was the product of a close-knit, religious family from Long Beach. Skylar, originally named John Jacobson Jr., grew up in the Midwest. His father, John Jacobson Sr., was convicted of a drug offense in the 1980s and went to prison. So Skylar, then known as John Jr., enlisted in the Marines after he turned 18. His military career was short-lived. About a year later, John Jr. went AWOL. When the authorities caught up with him, he gave them the story that he left to help his father and received a dishonorable discharge. John Jr. ended up in California, had several bit parts on the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers television show and changed his name to Skylar Deleon. He got a job with the mortgage lender Dytek and married Jennifer Henderson. The pair moved into a lean-to located in the backyard of Henderson's family home. Jennifer became pregnant right away. Authorities say the pair established a vicious routine. They wasted money, ran up massive debt and then killed or swindled people to repay their loans. Like so many of his dreams, nothing seemed to come to fruition. He always needed cash to finance existing debt or new ventures. He even conspired to steal his in-laws' 401k pension plan, said Jennifer's attorney, Mike Molfetta. Skylar was an avid scuba diver who was only a few lessons away from becoming a dive master, able to supervise dive activities and assist instructors. He even tattooed himself with a U.S. Navy SEAL insignia, even though he had never qualified for that command. It was his dream to travel to Mexico, using the boat as his business and residence, authorities said. In a short span, the police reached a disheartening conclusion: the likelihood of the Hawkses returning home seemed increasingly bleak. There was no activity on their checking account or cell phones, no money withdrawals, and no record of them boarding any airplanes. Extensive checks at hospitals in California, Arizona, and Mexico yielded no information. On November 27, Newport Beach police conducted a search of the well-deserved. The investigation uncovered heavy-duty garbage bags on board, along with a receipt for bleach dated November 17. These ominous findings heightened suspicions surrounding the couple's disappearance. Detectives traced Skylar, 25, and Jennifer, 23, who were residing with Jennifer's parents in nearby Long Beach, California. When Detective Dave Byington caught up with them, they were engaged in volunteer work, cleaning a church. According to Skylar and Jennifer, they had purchased the yacht on November 15 while it was docked in Newport Harbor, allegedly paying $465,000 in cash. However, under further questioning, Skylar revised this figure to $265,000, expressing a fear of trouble with the IRS. According to their account, the last sighting of the Hawkses involved the couple driving away in their car with the cash. Byington obtained the name of Alonzo McCain as a witness to the sale and received a bill of sale. Skylar then confessed that the purchase of the boat was a means to launder money connected to a 2002 armed burglary arrest for which he had been convicted. Highly suspicious of these revelations, Byington resolved to interview McCain and the notary to corroborate their stories. Additionally, he included the description of the Hawks car in a missing persons alert distributed to law enforcement agencies nationwide and in northern Mexico. The pieces of a chilling puzzle were slowly coming together. On December 16, Detective Byington received a crucial breakthrough. The Hawks car had been located in Ensenada, Mexico. The individuals in possession of the car claimed that Skylar had given it to them on November 26. As the pieces of the puzzle began to fall into place, Byington recognized the urgency of the situation. Aware that Skylar was likely to vanish, he decided to take action and arrested him on suspicion of money laundering. During an interview with Notary Public K. Harris, Byington uncovered that the notarization was fraudulent and had taken place in a hotel room. Harris revealed that she had been paid $2,000 to backdate the bill of sale. She had initially met the Deleons through Adam Rohrig, a former colleague of Skylar's from a dive shop. In a subsequent revelation from Rohrig, Byington learned that Skylar had approached him multiple times before the Hawkses disappeared, seeking assistance in disposing of bodies in the ocean. Roehrig had steadfastly refused to comply with Skylar's disturbing requests. The investigation was unraveling a sinister web of deceit and criminal intent. Skylar's associate, Alonzo McCain, initially corroborated Skylar's account of purchasing the boat and claimed to have witnessed the Hawkses driving away. However, McCain's resolve began to weaken, leading him to cooperate with the police in an effort to avoid charges that could result in the death penalty. In his cooperation, he unfolded a chilling tale of Skylar's plan to eliminate the Hawkses, promising a substantial payoff. According to McCain, Skylar recruited him for the sinister task, and together, they acquired stun guns and handcuffs. A trial run was conducted on November 6, but Thomas, displaying suspicion, insisted on meeting Jennifer. Additionally, given Thomas's apparent strength, doubts arose about their ability to overpower him. Jennifer was eventually introduced to the Hawkses on November 9. Then, on the 15th, aided by Crips gang member John Fitzgerald Kennedy, Skylar executed the seizure of the boat. Kennedy, with a criminal history that included an attempted murder conviction in 1988, was part of the sinister plan. According to McCain, a fourth individual, Myron Gardner, had introduced Kennedy to Skylar. The narrative painted by McCain revealed a web of dark intentions and criminal collaboration that had led to the tragic fate of Thomas and Jackie Hawks. Detective Byington had another crucial tool at his disposal, the extensive cell phone usage habits of both Jennifer and Skylar. By retrieving their phone records, he meticulously tracked Skylar's movements and contacts on specific days, assembling a detailed timeline of the events leading to the heinous crime. Skylar's day on the 6th commenced at 6:25 a.m. with calls to McCain, followed by another call 3 minutes later. At 6:51 a.m., Skylar placed a call to Jennifer from Newport Beach, the location where the Hawks yacht was docked. The authorities were able to determine the origin of calls by tracing them to specific transmitting towers. Subsequently, Skylar contacted Thomas Hawks at 9:30 a.m., and Jennifer called Skylar at 9:45 a.m. The two engaged in 5 more calls, with the last occurring at 1:31 p.m. when Skylar was back in Long Beach. The detailed analysis of their cell phone records provided a compelling blueprint for the unfolding events leading to the tragic demise of Thomas and Jackie Hawks. On the day of the murders, Skylar and Jennifer exchanged 13 calls, each corresponding to critical events aboard the yacht, as highlighted by the prosecution. Orange County Deputy District Attorney Matt Murphy emphasized the significance, stating, "He gets on the boat, he calls her. He ties the Hawkses up, he calls her." The phone log reveals Skylar calling Jennifer at 2:56 p.m., with Thomas Hawks making his final phone call at 4:06 p.m. At 4:21 p.m., the yacht was set on autopilot, a detail recorded by a global positioning device. McCain testified that the Hawkses were overpowered around 4 p.m., aligning with a phone call Skylar made to Jennifer at 4:26 p.m. The couple continued calling each other 5 more times until 6:47 p.m. Throughout the day and a half surrounding the murders, the couple had a total of 27 logged calls on their phones. Skylar did not return home until after 1:30 a.m., providing a damning timeline of their actions during this dark chapter. The comprehensive analysis of their phone records became a critical piece of evidence in establishing the sequence of events leading to the tragic fate of Thomas and Jackie Hawks. The police diligently pursued the case, and by April 8, 2005, all involved parties, including Jennifer, had been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder with the special circumstances of multiple murder and murder for financial gain. The severity of the charges made the defendants eligible for the death penalty. Despite the expectation that the story would conclude at this juncture, it took an unexpected turn as investigators stumbled upon another murder case. The unfolding events were far from over, revealing deeper layers of criminality and tragedy in the wake of the Hawks' horrific fate. Skylar Deleon's criminal activities extended beyond the Hawks' murders. He had met John Jarvie, aged 45, while both were in Seal Beach Jail. When John was released in December 2003, Skylar, who was still incarcerated but on a day-release work furlough program, persuaded John to lend him $50,000 for a supposed business deal that would be finalized in Mexico. The two drove down together, but only Skylar returned, having brutally attacked John by slitting his throat and leaving him for dead along a Mexican highway. When John's body was discovered with his identification intact, Mexican authorities contacted their LAPD counterparts. The LAPD detective, examining John's history, found that Skylar had been in possession of John's car. However, the investigation seemed to stall until the Hawks were murdered. Upon deeper scrutiny, detectives from the Newport Beach Police Department uncovered cell phone records indicating communication between Skylar and John immediately after cashier's checks for $50,000 had been cashed, extending throughout the day. Just 2 hours later, Skylar spent $18,000 in new $100 bills on equipment at a boatyard, deposited $21,000 in a bank account, and purchased a $2,200 diamond ring for his wife, as revealed by the district attorney. The district attorney asserted that Skylar might have escaped justice for John Jarvie's murder if it hadn't been for the Hawks' murders, which brought the broader scope of his criminal activities to light. The intertwining of these cases uncovered a web of deceit, violence, and tragedy orchestrated by Skylar Deleon. In an attempt to eliminate any potential witnesses or sources of information that could implicate him in the Hawks' deaths, Skylar Deleon sought a disturbing solution. Prosecutors alleged that Skylar had disclosed his actions to his father and became fearful that the elder Deleon might reveal the truth. In Skylar's mind, there was only one way to prevent this: his father had to be killed. To carry out this sinister plan, Skylar asked another inmate, while incarcerated, to murder his father upon release. Alternatively, if the inmate wasn't released soon enough, Skylar tasked him with finding someone on the outside to carry out the killing, according to the Orange County District Attorney's Office. This murderous plot came to light when sheriff deputies, during a routine search of the inmate's cell, discovered newspaper clippings and handwritten notes related to the yacht murders. When questioned, the inmate initially attempted to provide a false alibi for Skylar, but under further pressure, he confessed and revealed Skylar's plan to have his father killed. The dark saga didn't end there. Viewing his cousin, Mike Lewis, as a potential liability who could become an informant, Skylar solicited yet another inmate to kill Lewis on July 26, 2006. This second plot was uncovered when conversations about it were overheard, and a map of Lewis' home was observed being passed to the inmate, according to a law enforcement official. Upon learning of these death threats, prosecutors charged Skylar with 2 counts of solicitation of murder, further revealing the extent of his criminal machinations beyond the initial murders. In the legal aftermath of the horrific crimes committed by Skylar and Jennifer Deleon, the wheels of justice turned. Jennifer Deleon was found guilty on 2 counts of first-degree murder on November 17, 2006, after a mere 4 hours of jury deliberation. In October 2007, now going by the name Jennifer Henderson following her divorce from Skylar, she was sentenced to 2 life terms without the possibility of parole. Her defense attorney, Michael Molfetta, attributed her involvement to Skylar, claiming she had no knowledge of his murderous intentions. However, the trial prosecutor argued that Jennifer was the dominant force in the relationship and ran the show. Skylar Deleon's trial took place in the fall of 2008. While he admitted guilt at the beginning of the trial, prosecutors sought the death penalty. On October 20, a California jury found Skylar guilty of all 3 murders. The penalty phase began on October 22, and on November 7, the jury recommended the death penalty for Skylar. The resolution of both cases provided closure for the victims' families, allowing them to move forward. Ryan Hawks, in memory of his parents, set up a website to help locate them during the initial stages of the investigation. On Father's Day, Matt Hawks, one of the victims' sons, posted a heartfelt note expressing love and gratitude for his father, vowing to pass on the legacy to his own son, Jace. The tragedies endured by the Hawks family left an indelible mark, and their commitment to preserving their parents' memory serves as a testament to the enduring impact of this heartbreaking saga. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to click the subscribe button to unlock a world of darkness with the Grim Reaper tales. See you next time.